Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, our beautiful country, but how we're going to fix both of those things together. Guys, the Democrats they won't stop. It's like a constant drip of tyranny. They will not stop. They got to get that 2A infringement because now we have a new bill, the Federal Firearms Licensee Update Bill. Yeah, because nothing bad could come to this. All right, I'm going to show you all of this. It's all going to be linked in the description box below, but make no mistake, when they do this, there's a reason, and I'm going to show it to you right now. If you are new, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, and if you're a returning Patriot viewer, make sure they didn't unsubscribe you on accident because YouTube be doing that. All right, let's get into this, guys, because we have got to talk about something. Well, first of all, I just got to actually hit the right button because that's not set up right. All right, you can get all this information on my X account at BradenLOA. Make sure you follow me. Let's get it. All right, Giffords.org. Our good, friendly family friends, Giffords.org. Gun crime takes lives and hurts communities. It's made worse by weak, outdated laws that let guns fall into dangerous hands. We applaud Representative Robin Kelly for introducing the Federal Firearm Licensee Act to modernize our laws and close dangerous loopholes. Loopholes! We found more loopholes, people. Who does not love a good loophole if you are a tyranny-loving, anti-2A, gun-grabbing tyrant? Yeah. All right, let's get into this. Let me show you this, because with representatives like Kelly and senators like Dick Durbin, what could go wrong with our gun rights? I know, it's almost like they just won't quit, like a dog with a bone. But because it's Saturday and I love you guys from the bottom of my heart, I'm going to jump straight down to the main point here and show you what this is actually going to require of the changes around background checks. And I don't like, digital storage and manual storage. You'll be shocked. I know you will. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. Let's dive in, and then I'll show you the impetus of which they've built this case. They've got the who's who of gun controllers, but that's for a second. So the Federal Firearm Licensee Act, it modernizes regulations for existing licensed gun dealers. Guys, that's what we need. We need modernization of more gun control. That's what we need. It requires physical security measures to prevent firearm theft. Okay. So like what? Like the guy carrying the guns, don't steal my stuff? No. It's going to have it cabled to a wall like Illinois or California, and well, actually now Colorado or New York. Got to be behind plexiglass. You can't touch them because that's like dangerous, right? You got to have a FOID card to even touch a gun from a gun shop. Chicago, Illinois, all these things. That's what that is. Requiring physical security measures to prevent firearm theft. Yeah, that means you can't touch them. All right, let's keep going. It clarifies the standards by which licensed dealers and their employees are assessed for purposes of licensing, issuance, and renewal. So basically changing all the requirements for employees and for owners. Repeals long-standing appropriation riders that have impeded enforcement of existing law by barring the ATF from using funds to require licensed dealers to conduct physical firearm inventories and prohibiting the public disclosure of firearm trace data. Where could that go wrong? Okay, let's start at number 1 in that little snippet. Again, it's all linked. So the first thing here, ATF funds to require licensed dealers to conduct physical firearm inventories and then deliver it to the ATF? So now they'll not only know who has a gun at an FFL shop, which inventory it is in or it isn't in. They'll know where it came from, which manufacturer. They'll know which distributor had it. They'll know which employer or customer buys it, which employees sold it. And then they're going to know where the guns are and if they're being safely stored through Ethan's Law. It's almost like this is an entire system of tyranny. Guys, that is literally, they want a full, up-to-date inventory of all gun shops' guns. That's what they want. Keep going. The other part to this, prohibiting the public disclosure of firearms trace data. Now they want firearms trace data to be released publicly. So all the tracing data from the ATF, yeah, they want all that released publicly. Which shop sold it, which person stole it, which person was the original buyer, all of that. What could go wrong when the gun controllers could get that information? Are you starting to see a pattern here? The gun controllers push the government to make all this data public, which is private data, and then they get in and data mine it, and then they make a demonization attempt out of the gun industry or the gun shops, therefore pushing people out of the business, either closing the existing shops or making the ATF go after them, or just doing a public awareness campaign to destroy, like Cabela's or Bass Pro Shop, to the point where it's not worth it for them to sell guns anymore. You see how this works? That's what they're doing. And now, the last one, the coup de grace, and then we'll get to the who's who of gun controllers and what they're saying. Increases record retention and electronic data management. That's a fancy way to say a digital database. And sharing for background checks. Record retention, so it makes you hold on to 4473s and all the information of a sales of a gun for longer. And it makes it electronic data management. That's a nice way of saying electronic database, as I mentioned. And then sharing it of the background checks. Guys, what this is this is sitting representatives and sitting senators putting forth bills to give the gun controllers a smorgasbord of data to make marketing campaigns to further their own gun control efforts, which will then turn around and fund those senators and those representatives. See how this works? Now let me get you the who's who. I got a few things I want to show you here. Representative Kelly, Senator Durbin, they introduced a bicameral legislation to update laws governing licensed firearm dealers. That just means it's in both houses with matching bills. So in Washington, U.S. Representative Robin Kelly and Senator Dick Durbin, both from Illinois I'd like to add, introduced the Federal Firearms Licensee Act to update the laws governing licensed firearm dealers for the first time in over 30 years. Yeah, because that hasn't changed and been an attack for 30 years. Current laws inadequately meet the business, technological, and cultural realities of the 21st century, ultimately insulating rogue firearm dealers from law enforcement. Rogue firearm dealers from law enforcement. If you've ever walked in a gun shop, worked in a gun shop, run a gun shop, if you've ever bought a gun from a gun shop, you know that there is no rogue dealer situation going on. Those people are the most, they have the ATF so far up their butts they can't do anything. Okay, that's such crap. Anyway, let's continue. While the gun industry profits $9 billion each year, class warfare. With deadlier and more advanced weapons, fear, safety. The gun lobby obstructs any updates to our laws, demonization. In one sentence. Class warfare, safety, and demonization. It is long past time we bring our gun safety laws into the 21st century. It is simply common sense, for every gun dealer to be responsible for their product and ensure they do not unwittingly provide guns to people with dangerous intentions. Yeah, because you can really know someone's intentions. You already got a 4473 background check. You got the FBI background check. The ATF is aware because they do audits of these things. Look, what else do you need? You need an FOID card, you need a licensure to own, you need mandated training to own. Oh my God, it's almost like Illinois. That's weird. Let's continue. Our existing laws allow far too many guns to find their ways into the hands of individuals who pose a threat to our communities. Guys, this is the entire point. You can read this whole thing if you want, but you have to understand this is not about people who just want tyranny. You have to understand this. This is about people who understand that their bread is being buttered by an industry that they have to continue to placate to in order to get that funding and that sweet marketing dollar. That's exactly what you're seeing here, because the gun control organizations have their heads so far up the butts of all the Democrat politicians that they know that there's an incentive base for them to go after gun rights any way that they can. They will never stop. Bipartisan Community Safer Act, or Safer Communities Act, they won't ever stop. You got the ATF getting rid of ghost guns, they won't ever stop. They're never going to stop because there's a combined incentive for profit. That's the entire point. They're never going to stop. There's never going to be a safety point. It's all going to continue until the well dries up. Honest to God, that's the way that it's going to work. I got a few more things here, but I'll be honest with you, there's only a couple more that I really wanted to show you. Let's say Emma Brown from Executive Director of Giffords. Every day, gun crimes takes lives and hurts communities, made worse by weak, outdated laws that let firearms fall into dangerous hands. Cite them, Emma. I will. You know what? Let's get crazy. Come on my show. I will openly show you any time slot, anything you want. We will have a full-on conversation, and you can highlight the laws that make it so easy for criminals to get guns. I dare you to do it. Call me. Right there. There's emails everywhere. You can find me. I bet you won't do it because it's all a bunch of crap. Anyway, let's continue. This is the last one. This bill would give ATF more tools to hold rogue gun dealers accountable for putting profits ahead of public safety. Gag me with a spoon from Everytown for Gun Safety's John Feinblatt. These guys have their placation. They have their talking points. They have their platitudes. They placate to the exact same audience. It is non-stop. Until you guys know and figure out what they're doing, and then you can call them on their BS every single day. That's why we have X. That's why we have YouTube. That's why we have a comment section. And of course, let me know what you guys think, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.